that one bullshit PlayStation trophy. The final countdown trophy in Castle Crashers Remastered on the PS4 is absolutely fucking bullshit. This one will make you pull your fucking hair out in how frustrating and fucking bollocks it is. Okay, calm down. So, the trophy requires you to play the back-off Barbarian little mini-game mode and survive 2 minutes and 30 seconds without dying. Now, on the surface, when looking through this list, this one will sound like a pretty easy trophy to be fair, but once you start to play this mode, you'll realise that nearly everything about this fucking horseshit bollocks mode is absolutely fucking bullshit. So, to begin with, the aim of this game is to move around this board and avoid the barbarians that chase after you. To do this, you can use either the face buttons or the directional buttons to move in any given direction according to what is on the floor next to you. So you can't just freely move, you can only go to other squares next to you if you're near them and you press the right button. Left isn't always left, right isn't always right, and so on. It's just purposely awkward, and it really does fuck you up in moments of pressure where you're trying to do quick movements really fast. So as the mode starts, it's not too bad. It lures you in with a full sense of security. The Barbarians at the beginning are quite slow, but as time goes on, more and more will come out and move a lot faster than what they did to begin with. Sometimes even faster than what you can move, especially when you are under pressure and you're trying to look at what's on the floor and then press the corresponding button. They're pretty relentless too, and you can't really trick them. Like, you can't really be on the other side of an obstacle and constantly sway back and forth to try and make them change their path. They will just gun for you. So the levels as well are where it's also bullshit, as there's probably a handful of levels, but the problem is they rotate randomly, so you never get to play the same map twice in a row, and this just makes it harder and harder to learn a decent level and get comfortable with it, as it's constantly changing on you when you fail, so then you're just basically starting from scratch again each time. Worse still with the levels is that some of them are really small, making it such a much harder challenge, as you don't have much room to manoeuvre, especially when all of the barbarians are out towards the end and you can't really move because you're just blocked in. It's just so fucking frustrating. There are also areas within certain levels that make it look like you can move to them because there's squares on the floor. Yet, when you get to it, you realise that no, this square's blocked for some reason, you can't do it. And I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a dead end by mistake and then just died because of it. It's a fucking joke. So yeah, 2 minutes and 30 seconds feels like an absolute lifetime when playing this mode. It's just so frustrating to fail within between 2 minutes and 2 minutes 30 seconds, to then only have to replay that first 1 minute 30 seconds over and over and over again just to get to the actual end game section. You know, when most of the barbarians are out and this is it now, you're into the final 30 seconds or whatever, you start to feel a bit like that first part of this mode is just filler. It's just killing time while you wait to actually get to the main bit. It's just so frustrating, especially when you're trying it on your own. So you'd probably think, hang on a minute, why don't I try online multiplayer? With 4 players on screen at once, the barbarians are just going to be going for everyone else, so I can just hide in a corner, right? Well, you'd think that would be easier, wouldn't you? Well no, online it's even more fucking bullshit. You see, if you join a game and the host himself has a bad connection, then the whole fucking game will just lag really bad, like such a fucking delay of a few seconds each time you press the fucking button to move, so it just becomes completely unplayable. fuck me, it's actually definitely harder in multiplayer, because other players moving around the grid can actually block you, and you might find some arseholes online just purposely pin you in a fucking corner, so you both end up fucking dying. It's an absolute fucking joke. Also, another problem I have with online is that if you do get near to another player, for some fucking reason they thought it was a bright idea for you to be able to see their squares on the grid too, so then you see even more button icons around you, making you think that you can move to spaces when you can't, because they're actually the other fucking players. It's just total fucking bullshit. Then, the worst thing online, I would say, is when other players die. I mean, sure, potions will respawn somewhere on the map, so you can revive them. However, they're on fucking timers, and if you don't get to it in time, then the game just kills everyone outright. You just wipe out like it's fucking Destiny 2 online or something. Oh my god, it's just fucking bullshit. What the fuck is that shit? Why the hell did they think that was a good idea? What a fucking joke. And that makes me think, if you even do get it online with people, if you've died and then respawned after a few seconds, and the person who wins it dies dead on 2 minutes 30 seconds, you probably won't get it because you died and you didn't play for the whole 2 minutes 30 seconds. It's an absolute fucking joke. So I go back to single player and I try and grind it out on my own, and eventually I come up with a decent strategy. You see, the trick is to constantly be moving, but not in a random fashion. You want to pick a route, preferably around the edge of a course, and keep going around doing laps and laps, trying your best to just dodge people whenever they come past. That, for me, is the best way to do it. And if you do find yourself surrounded by barbarians, well, the only way of getting out is to just rotate the fucking analog stick really fast and hope that the game just randomly puts you into squares that aren't occupied by barbarians and you somehow escape. And that's it. You rely on twiddling that fucking analog stick really quick to fucking survive. It's an absolute fucking joke. But when you do finally get it, if you can put up with it, if you can avoid smashing your pad, smashing your TV in frustration of this fucking bullshit trophy, then yeah, it feels really good to get. But because of all that fucking bollocks I've just mentioned, I can't recommend this one, and that is why the Final Countdown trophy on Castle Crashers Remastered gets an absolute bullshit rating of...
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit! You said so! So bullshit!
Whoa. 6? No, that's not gonna do. I forgot to mention this. The trophies in this game are fucking glitched to hell, and they even knew about it, because you get this bullshit screen where it says your trophy did not save successfully if it fails to fucking pop. You can press retry, but it doesn't do fuck all, and if you keep spamming it, eventually it'll just fucking force to continue, and then you'll find you can't even pause a game. For this, if this fucking happened on this fucking Final Countdown trophy, I would lose my fucking shit. For that reason, this gets 100 piles of bullshit, motherfuckers.